Top Gunners! Arsenal FC have booked their place in the UEFA Champions League quarter-finals after a composed 2-0 win over Bayer Leverkusen at the Emirates. Goals from Odegaard and Declan Rice sealed the result and confirmed Arsenal's growing maturity on the European stage. Under manager Mikel Arteta, this is the furthest Arsenal have gone in the competition in several seasons, and it signals something important. It says that this team is no longer just exciting, it's becoming serious. The next test, a quarter-final clash with Sporting CP. And for Arsenal supporters, the dream of a deep Champions League run is certainly looking very real. A major test awaits Arsenal at Wembley. Arsenal FC will face Manchester City in the EFL Cup final, a match that could define the progress of the Arteta era. For manager Mikel Arteta, this represents a chance to secure his second trophy with the club after the 2020 FA Cup. But the challenge is this: Manchester City, led by Pep Guardiola, remain one of the most formidable teams in world football. For Arsenal, this isn't just about lifting a trophy, it's about proving that this talented young squad is ready to convert promise into silverware. As Arsenal enter the decisive stretch of the season, fitness concerns are beginning to emerge. Key players including captain Martin Odegaard and defender Odegaard and Timber are currently managing injury crisis, raising questions about squad depth heading into critical fixtures. Manager Mikel Arteta will be hoping both players return quickly, especially with domestic and European matches piling up. The good news for Arsenal supporters is that the squad has shown resilience all season. But as the trophies come into view, every available player could make the difference. Arsenal have found themselves at the centre of another VAR debate following their narrow win over Brighton and Hove Albion. Premier League officials have acknowledged that a potential penalty incident involving Gabriel Martinelli should have been reviewed more closely. The decision not to award the penalty reignited criticism of VAR consistency across the league. For Arsenal FC, the points remain on the board, but the wider conversation about officiating standards in the Premier League is once again front and centre. Off the pitch, Arsenal are already planning for the future. The club has reportedly opened discussions to extend the contract of midfielder Declan Rice, who has quickly become one of the team's most influential leaders. Since arriving from West Ham United, Rice has anchored Arsenal's midfield with authority, composure, and leadership. For Arsenal FC, tying him down long-term is about more than contracts. It's about ensuring that the core of this emerging team stays together for years to come. There comes a moment in the life of every football club when potential is no longer enough. And for those of us who support Arsenal FC, it feels like we've arrived at that moment. For years, we asked for patience. We defended the process. We believed in the vision of Mikel Arteta when many outside the club said it would never work. A young squad, they said. Too inexperienced, they said. Nice football, but not built to win. But look at this team now. Look at the authority in midfield from Declan Rice. Look at the maturity and leadership of our captain Martin Odegaard. Look at the brilliance and courage of Bukayo Saka, a player who carries the hopes of an entire fan base every time he steps onto the pitch. This is no longer a team finding its way. This is a team that knows exactly who it is. We're organized, we're fearless, and most importantly, we're competitive again at the highest level. A Champions League run is unfolding, a cup final looms, and suddenly the conversations around Arsenal have changed. No one is talking about rebuilding anymore. Now they're talking about whether Arsenal can win it all. And that's the real shift. Because if you grew up watching the Arsenal of Arsene Wenger, the Arsenal of Thierry Henry and Patrick Vieira, you know what this club is supposed to feel like. There is a certain expectation that comes with the badge. Not arrogance, but strong belief. The belief that when Arsenal are strong, we don't just participate in big competitions, we shape them. Now, none of this guarantees trophies. Football never promises anything. But what we can say as supporters watching this team grow week by week is that something important is happening again at Arsenal. The connection between the team and the supporters is back. The Emirates has its voice again. And for the first time in a long time, Arsenal are not chasing the past. We're building the next great chapter. And if this team keeps its nerve in the weeks ahead, we may soon be saying something we've waited a long time to say again. Arsenal are champions.
Up Gunners!